Australia is known for its stunning landscapes and world-class cities. But what if I told you that some of its airports are so poorly designed and managed that they could turn your dream vacation into a complete nightmare? From endless queues that stretch for hours to facilities that seem stuck in the 1980s, these airports have earned their reputation as the absolute worst places to start or end your journey. Today, we're counting down the 10 worst airports in Australia that every traveler should know about before booking their next flight. Number 10. Ballina Byron Gateway Airport. This tiny regional airport in New South Wales might sound charming with its connection to the famous Byron Bay, but don't let the name fool you. Ballina Byron Gateway Airport is essentially a glorified bus stop with wings. The terminal building is so small that during peak tourist season, passengers are literally spilling out onto the tarmac waiting for their flights. Imagine trying to find a seat when 3 flights are departing within an hour. It's like playing musical chairs, except everyone loses. The airport's single runway means that any minor delay creates a domino effect that can leave you stranded for hours. Weather delays here aren't just inconvenient, they're catastrophic because there's simply nowhere for delayed passengers to go. The food options consist of a single cafe that closes randomly, and the Wi-Fi is so unreliable that you'll be better off using smoke signals to contact the outside world. Many travelers have reported missing connecting flights in major cities because Ballina's delays are so unpredictable that even the airlines can't plan around them. Number 9. Avalon Airport, Melbourne. Located about an hour's drive from Melbourne's city centre, Avalon Airport is the kind of place that makes you question every life decision that led you there. This airport's main problem isn't just its remote location, it's the complete lack of adequate transport infrastructure to get you anywhere civilized. The promised shuttle services are often delayed or simply don't show up, leaving passengers stranded in what feels like the middle of nowhere. The terminal facilities are sparse and outdated, with limited seating that becomes a premium commodity during busy periods. The check-in process moves at a glacial pace because the airport seems perpetually understaffed. Passengers have reported waiting over 2 hours just to drop off their bags during peak times. The retail and dining options are practically non-existent, so if you're hoping to grab a decent meal or do some last-minute shopping, you're out of luck. The parking situation is equally frustrating, with limited spaces that fill up quickly, forcing travelers to park in overflow areas that require a shuttle ride just to reach the terminal. Number 8. Newman Airport. Nestled in the heart of Western Australia's mining country, Newman Airport serves as a perfect example of what happens when an airport is built purely for function without any regard for passenger comfort or efficiency. This airport handles a surprising amount of traffic due to the mining industry, but the infrastructure hasn't kept pace with demand. The result is an airport that feels like it's constantly on the verge of collapse under its own weight. The terminal building is cramped and poorly ventilated, making it particularly uncomfortable during the scorching summer months when temperatures can exceed 45 degrees Celsius. The air conditioning system is notoriously unreliable, and passengers often find themselves sweating through their clothes while waiting for flights. Security lines move at a snail's pace because there's only one screening point for all departing passengers, creating bottlenecks that can stretch back to the entrance during busy periods. The baggage handling system seems to operate on its own mysterious timeline, with lost luggage being more common than punctual departures. Many business travelers and mining workers who use this airport regularly have learned to pack everything essential in their carry-on because there's a genuine risk their checked baggage won't make it to their destination on the same flight they do. Number 7. Kingscote Airport, Kangaroo Island's main airport, Kingscote, is a textbook case of how not to manage a regional airport that serves as a crucial gateway to one of Australia's most popular tourist destinations. Despite handling thousands of visitors each year who come to experience Kangaroo Island's unique wildlife and natural beauty, this airport feels like it was designed for a tenth of its actual passenger volume. The terminal is laughably small, with inadequate seating that forces passengers to stand around like they're waiting for a bus in the middle of nowhere. During the peak tourist season, the overcrowding becomes so severe that elderly passengers and families with young children struggle to find anywhere to sit while waiting for their flights. The single check-in counter creates queues that snake outside the building, exposing passengers to whatever weather conditions happen to be occurring that day. Perhaps most frustratingly, the airport's operational hours seem to be more of a suggestion than a schedule. Flights are frequently delayed not because of mechanical issues or weather, but because the airport simply isn't ready to handle departures on time. The baggage claim area is so small that passengers from just 2 flights can barely fit in the space, creating a chaotic scrum every time bags start appearing on the single carousel. Number 6. Albury Airport. Straddling the border between New South Wales and Victoria, Albury Airport manages to disappoint passengers from 2 states simultaneously. This regional airport serves a significant population center, but you wouldn't know it from the third-world conditions that greet travelers. The terminal building looks like it hasn't been updated since the 1970s, with faded carpets, flickering fluorescent lights, and furniture that belongs in a museum of airport disasters. The check-in process is an exercise in patience, with computer systems that crash regularly, and staff who seem as frustrated with the technology as the passengers. During peak travel times, the single security checkpoint creates queues that can take over an hour to navigate, despite the airport's relatively small size. The retail options are limited to a single newsstand that stocks items you could find at any suburban corner store, while the dining options consist of a cafe that serves coffee so bad it could be considered a form of cruel and unusual punishment. Weather delays at Albury are particularly problematic because the airport lacks adequate facilities to house stranded passengers. When flights are canceled or significantly delayed, travelers often find themselves with nowhere to go and no real assistance from airport staff who seem equally unprepared for such situations. Number 5. Port Lincoln Airport. South Australia's Port Lincoln Airport serves as the gateway to the Eyre Peninsula, but calling it a gateway is generous when it feels more like a roadblock. This airport's problems begin before you even enter the terminal, with a parking situation that can only be described as chaotic. The limited parking spaces fill up quickly, and the overflow parking is essentially a dirt field that turns into a muddy mess whenever it rains. Inside the terminal, the situation doesn't improve. The building is cramped and poorly designed, with a layout that creates natural choke points where passengers inevitably get stuck. The single check-in counter means that arriving even slightly late for check-in can result in missing your flight, as there's no way to expedite the process. The waiting area has uncomfortable seating that seems designed to discourage lingering, which is ironic considering how often flights are delayed. The baggage handling at Port Lincoln is notoriously unreliable, with lost luggage being so common that seasoned travelers know to pack essentials in their carry-on. The airport's remote location means that when things go wrong, there are limited options for passengers to rebook or find alternative transportation. Many visitors to the region have learned to factor in extra time and backup plans because relying on Port Lincoln Airport to operate smoothly is a gamble few are willing to take twice. Number 4. Mount Gambier Airport. Serving the Limestone Coast region of South Australia, Mount Gambier Airport is a masterclass in how to make air travel as unpleasant as possible. The airport's problems start with its aging infrastructure that seems to break down on a regular basis. The terminal building is so outdated that it lacks basic amenities that travelers have come to expect, such as adequate charging stations for electronic devices or comfortable seating arrangements. The check-in process at Mount Gambier is particularly frustrating because the computer systems are unreliable, and the staff often have to resort to manual processes that slow everything down to a crawl. Passengers frequently report having to provide the same information multiple times because the systems don't communicate with each other properly. The security screening area is cramped and inefficient, with equipment that seems to flag every other passenger for additional screening, regardless of whether there's actually anything suspicious. Flight delays are common at Mount Gambier, but what makes them particularly aggravating is the complete lack of communication from airport staff about what's happening or when passengers might expect to depart. The waiting areas have no entertainment options, limited food choices, and Wi-Fi that works sporadically at best. When weather causes cancellations, passengers often find themselves stranded with no clear guidance on rebooking or alternative arrangements. Number 3. Whyalla Airport. Located in South Australia's industrial heartland, Whyalla Airport feels like it was designed by someone who had never actually been in an airport before. Desks because the signage is inadequate and the building's design seems to actively work against logical flow patterns. The check-in facilities at Whyalla are woefully inadequate for the passenger volume, with long queues being the norm rather than the exception. The computer systems are outdated and prone to crashes, which can turn a simple check-in process into an hour-long ordeal. Staff members often appear overwhelmed and understaffed, leading to poor customer service and frustrated passengers who feel like they're being processed through a dysfunctional assembly line. Security screening at Whyalla moves at a glacial pace because the airport seems to have invested in the bare minimum equipment necessary to meet regulations. The single X-ray machine breaks down regularly, causing massive delays and forcing passengers to wait in cramped corridors with no seating or climate control. The departure lounge is equally problematic, with uncomfortable seating, poor lighting, and virtually no amenities to make the wait bearable. Number 2. Merimbula Airport. Serving the beautiful Sapphire Coast region of New South Wales, Merimbula Airport proves that scenic surroundings can't make up for operational incompetence. This airport's problems are so numerous and severe that many travelers actively avoid it, choosing to drive hours to Sydney or Melbourne rather than deal with the frustration and delays that Merimbula practically guarantees. The terminal building at Merimbula is a cramped, poorly ventilated space that becomes unbearable during busy periods. The single check-in counter creates bottlenecks that can stretch outside the building, exposing passengers to weather while they wait. The computer systems are notoriously unreliable, often requiring staff to manually process passengers, which slows everything down exponentially. Many travelers report arriving at the airport 2 hours early, only to barely make their flights because of the inefficient check-in process. Baggage handling at Merimbula is a complete disaster, with lost luggage being so common that the airport has earned a reputation among frequent flyers as a place where your belongings go to disappear. The single baggage carousel breaks down regularly, and when it's working, it moves so slowly that passengers joke about being able to walk to their destination faster than their bags can make it through the system. Flight delays are endemic, often caused not by weather or mechanical issues, but by the airport's inability to process passengers and cargo efficiently. Number 1. Coober Pedy Airport. Taking the crown as Australia's worst airport is Coober Pedy Airport in South Australia, a facility so poorly managed and maintained that it defies belief. Located in the opal mining town famous for its underground homes, this airport feels like it was built underground too, except without any of the planning or engineering that makes Coober Pedy's underground architecture functional. The terminal building is a testament to neglect, with facilities that seem to have been abandoned mid-construction. The waiting area has broken chairs, non-functioning air conditioning, and lighting that flickers like something out of a horror movie. The single restroom facility is often out of order, forcing passengers to seek alternatives that may or may not exist. Check-in is handled by staff who seem as bewildered by the process as the passengers, with computer systems that crash regularly and backup procedures that involve handwritten boarding passes and manual baggage tags. The runway at Coober Pedy is in such poor condition that pilots often have to make judgment calls about whether it's safe to land, leading to frequent diversions to other airports that can be hundreds of kilometers away. When flights do manage to land, the baggage handling system is so unreliable that passengers have learned to treat any reunion with their luggage as a minor miracle. The airport's remote location means that when things go wrong, there are virtually no alternatives or backup plans available. What makes Coober Pedy Airport truly nightmarish is the complete lack of basic passenger services. There's no food available, no shops, no entertainment, and no reliable communication with the outside world. Passengers who get stranded here due to weather or mechanical issues often find themselves in a situation that resembles being marooned on a desert island, except with less natural beauty and more industrial decay. So there you have it, Australia's 10 worst airports that prove even in a country known for its high standards and quality infrastructure, some places can still fall dramatically short of expectations. From overcrowded terminals to unreliable baggage systems, these airports remind us that not all travel experiences are created equal. What do you think about these airports? Have you had the misfortune of experiencing any of these travel nightmares? Let us know your thoughts and your own airport horror stories in the comments below. Which of these airports would you absolutely refuse to fly through and why? If you found this video helpful and want to avoid these travel disasters, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more travel tips and insights. Click on the bell icon to get notified when we release our next video, where we'll be exploring the best airports in Australia that actually know how to treat passengers right.